Hey, happy Tuesday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. It is time for Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, where we transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience. But 13 minutes of our time, of our day, we do it together. Hey! All right, you know what time it is. All right, shout out to my Instagram fam. They jumped on before you guys on Facebook. 24K Levi, Grand Rising King. Yes, I received that. Almighty, is that right? He says, this is so relaxing already. Welcome. You guys were behind the scenes, you know, before I do the broadcast. So that's wonderful. All right, episode 81. Wow. Episode 81. This is going to be a great episode. Why? Because I'm calling it, They Just Not Feeling You. Episode is called, 81 is called, They Just Not Feeling You. Okay, let me get into the logistics real quick. For those of you who are new to Shift Your Thinking, drop in a comment, say hi, say hello, tag someone, share, let someone know that we do personal and professional development every Tuesday. Yes, every Tuesday. If you miss me, like you can't get on the IG or the Facebook when we go live, guess what? You can download the radio podcast. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Anchor, Stitcher, Breaker, everywhere. Just type it in. We're there. Mustafa71, hello, welcome. I just wanted to make sure I got that in. All right. So again, be sure you subscribe on YouTube. If you have a YouTube, I have a YouTube channel. Show some love over there as well. I welcome comments and feedback and hearts and love and all that wonderful stuff. Episode 81. And again, if you're new to us, we are continuing our segment from Shift Your Thinking, 200 Ways to Improve Our Life with Dean Del Sesto. I read the segments, but I do my own spin on it, right? For those of you who know me, I am a clairvoyant entrepreneur, so I channel a lot of the messages that come through, and there's no shame in my game. I know who I am. And I own that. Asukara, I don't know who that is, but welcome. I don't know how to say it, but welcome. We welcome you. Okay, so episode 81, They're Just Not Feeling You, all right? I'm in the section where he says, if you speak and others don't hear, it's not that they didn't listen, it's that you failed to resonate. Ooh, this is going to be so good. Why? Because you see so many people jump on the gram or the Facebook, and everybody's throwing out their messages and then kind of beat themselves up and say, well, people didn't hear me, or you're not listening, or even in communication with another person right in front of you, you can kind of share and express yourself. But guess what? Your message is just not resonating with them. They're not feeling you. So we're going to dive in today and learn a little bit about what to do about that, perhaps how to improve our communication skills, because everything in life, people, money, and communication, that's currency. You know how I feel about this. Currency. Okay. Dr. Lucas, I just got a shout out and say hello. Thanks for the like. This is going to be so good, right? Especially because synchronistically every week, there's a moment that I'm going through something, I'm doing something. Then we get to Tuesday and I'm like, yo, that happened. So that's how I'm feeling about today. 24K Levi, thank you for sharing me in the IG story. Really appreciate that, love. What else? Okay. How are you feeling, loves? How are you feeling? Good. I just want to make sure I check in mind, body, spirit, that you are in that space and place right now to receive me. Okay. Time out, everything else. This is you today. This is you and me. This is all we do. You and me on Tuesday. Okay. The author says, as a conservative count, he says, I can say there at least 10,000 times in my life, he says, and counting, when I blame someone else for not listening to what I said. Who's blaming other people for not hearing what you said, right? They didn't listen. You didn't hear. You know what that just reminded me of? Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. I should have captioned this episode. Listen, Linda. Listen. You know, the babes are telling you. Sometimes they're outright, if that's because it's not that they're not listening, they're just not feeling what you're saying. Could be communication style. I get that, especially those of you who do audiobooks. Have you noticed that there are people that you're like, I want to read this book. I want to listen to it, but their voice or their tonality, the inflections, they're sometimes either too monotone, they're not an exciting person for you. And, you know, it may not resonate because of who you are, right? I will recommend checking out the DISC assessment, DISC. The creator of that personality assessment actually created the character Wonder Woman. And I'm a high I, by the way. You can tell I'm high something. I'm a high I personality, which tends to be very ideal for a natural salesperson. I'm high energy, I'm go, let's do it. So there are other personalities that are more analytical, slow thinking. I got to think about it. I need details. I need to run the number. That may not resonate with me. So the high I am mutable, which I can be adaptable to that personality type. I can slow down and then I can catch up. I can change my tone. I can vibrate at that frequency. See how I did that? Woohoo! Your girl got skills. So DISC assessment, if you haven't already, just to kind of explore some quirks that you might have that may not be resonating with other people around you. DISC assessment. I want to shout out to Bruce Mena, my realtor colleague, who reminded me of it the other day. Looks like he was checking out his assessment and he had asked me about it. And when I did a conference, actually a sales conference in Anaheim, I believe it was, and that was one of the first things they had us do, is learn your personality type. Why? Because that will kind of help when people are not feeling you. All right. That was just a gem right now. I wasn't even in the book. Okay, let's continue. He says, we blamed other people that for not listening, only to have them come back and tell us they heard it differently or didn't hear it at all. Isn't that fantastic how you can share something and someone hears a completely different message? I do take credit for that sometimes. I'm like, that's wonderful. Perfect example for me. I was my high school class salutatorian. So I was on stage, gave the speech, and years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, and people are still coming up to me and say, what you said was so powerful. Man, that was so, just all these, they admonished what I said, and it was so encouraging and so positive and so uplifting. I honestly, to this day, do not remember what I said. But however, they were feeling me. It resonated. Whatever I said at that time, in 2001, whatever I said on the stage resonated with them. I don't remember what I said, possibly because I was channeling messages way back then. So what you heard was for you. All right, let's continue. He says it has caused more relational grief, right? For those of you who are in relationships, pause and think about the person you're in relationship with. Is it because it's your personality types, communication style? And I'm equating that together, right? Personality type and communication style can be learned, which is why I suggested exploring the DISC assessment. Learn your style of communication and learning and expressing yourself. How are you coming off in the world? That's what this is about. Shift your thinking as the accountability of oneself. How are you coming off in the world? Because you will meet the person that's going to mirror it back to you. And then you go, hey, I like this person. I can rock with this person. I'm feeling this person. Or you can go, ooh, yeah, I'm not feeling that person. Why? Because it's reflective of a style that does not resonate with you. You see how that works? People are still mirroring. They are still mirroring. Okay. Thank you for the heart, Pa Us Sonko. If you drop a comment, I can shout you out. Otherwise, Merlin Raw Sugar. Y'all kill me with these names. I mean, I'm telling you, you guys go incognito on the social media. And so now I'm like trying to read your names. All right. So he says, caused more relational grief, hindered my career, he says, and stifled my progress more than any other area. Why? Because that's a communication style. Hey, priceless dancers, that's a communication style. How are you coming off? He says, but I still struggle, the author says, with the reality that I am quick to conclude they didn't listen. Are you doing that? Y'all just not listening. You didn't hear me. They're out to lunch, or they're just an idiot. Are you extreme? Are you calling people an idiot? You're saying, oh, they're stupid. Anyone can get it. Anyone with an ear can hear what I'm saying, can understand, can understand and overstand. Is this true? Or is it the onus on you that says, hey, they're just not feeling me? You don't have to beat yourself up about it and just say, maybe my communication style is not effective for that person. Ooh, gonna learn today. He says, for most of my adult life, it never crossed my mind that it might be what I said, didn't say, or more importantly, how I said what I said that created the roadblock to effective communication. We covered this earlier in the episodes, ladies, right? Ladies, real quick, we covered this in the episode because if I lovingly say to my king, sweetheart, would you mind if I had an extra blank dollars so that I can get this done? Would that be good for our budget? Notice how that is very different than saying, can I get some money to get my hair done? No one wants to be talked to or talked at. We want to be spoken with. I challenge you to not use the word talk. I challenge you to say or replace and substitute the phrase, I want to talk to you. That's the CTA today. Replacing the phrase, I want to talk to you. Don't talk to people, speak with them. I would like to speak with you. You can lovingly, genuinely express yourself without being directive, coming off authoritative. Men, same thing, right? Communication style is very different when speaking with women. Definitely, I don't need you to go high tone. You know, I don't know. You don't need to do high tones. You can keep the bass in your voice and just, it's the endearment, right? Sweetheart, queen, would you mind if blank? You're not asking for permission. And don't confuse when you're expressing yourself in that way that you are asking for permission. You are sharing respect, because the other person that you're communicating with knows you're a grown adult and you don't need to ask for permission. Therefore, they won't interpret that way. They will say that you care enough to express your sentiments with me. I do that all the time. I don't ask for permission. I don't need permission. I don't need approval. But when I'm expressing sentiments and sharing what my thoughts are, I'm sharing that I care to include you into my world. Being effective, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And you can get so much done. You know the saying, you can catch more flies with honey? Just make it a little sweeter. Sweetheart, sweetheart. I love this. Are you feeling this? Right? Being more effective, you don't get out here trying to talk to people. I need to talk to you. Oh, speak with, change the vernacular, change the jargon. That's what we're talking about here. Did you hear me? Or that's what we're speaking about. Talk has a very negative connotation. That word alone has a negative connotation. So attempt with replacing and substituting with speak. I'd like to speak with you. Notice the vibration is different. Talk, I'd like to talk with you. I'd like to talk to you. Versus I say, I'd like to speak with you. Notice the frequency. Practice that. The author says, it never dawned on me that because people are different, I just said this, personalities, and they're receiving communication in different ways and need to be communicated to in different ways. He just said that. I just said that I might be the one with the communication problem. The idiot, he says, and guess what I was? Why? Because we're not being in tune with other people's communication styles. One of the things the onus that I have with me when I do this, that I'm not for everyone. That's my responsibility to myself, that I'm not for everyone. Because notice that this platform, I use everyday vernacular and jargon. What does that mean? I keep it real. I'm very natural. I'm very authentic. But I'm also very intelligent. I've tested intelligent. I have a high vocabulary, so I can code switch when I need to, when it's called for. That's my responsibility. That's your responsibility as well, because that's what we're discussing. Code switching. Somebody put code switch. Oh my goodness. Drop code switch in the comments, please. That's what it is. When someone's just not feeling you, code switch, please. Receive the cues. What are the cues? They'll look away, they're looking down, they're looking at their phone, they're kind of, they're not engaged with you. Code switch. Be mindful. That's what emotional quotient, this is EQ here. Emotional quotient allows you to be so in tune with yourself that you can pay attention to your communication style with someone else and see if it's resonating. But if you're so busy trying to get off your point, check out the last episode when we shared and discussed, don't be a right fighter. Don't be so busy out here trying to be a right fighter. You're missing the point completely, which means impact. You're missing impact opportunity, impact and influence. That's what you're missing because you're not operating in your EQ. Woo. All right, we're going to wrap this up. This is good. He says, the author says, with a renewed commitment to specificity, say that 5 times, specificity, sensitivity, and slowing down, he says, every delegation, negotiation, and conversation. I told you this author is a rapper. Look at these lyrics. He says, with a renewed commitment to specificity, sensitivity, and slowing down, every delegation, negotiation, and conversation became more effective when I took a moment to reflect on how the other would best receive what I was saying. Go figure. You mean you're taking a mental assessment of self to determine if what you're sharing is being effective or coming off right for the other person to receive what you have to give? Woo, heavy. And know that this just doesn't apply to your personal relationships. He just said negotiation and delegation. Absolutely. And this is something that I do all the time in negotiating. Why? Because there's sometimes people that are very aggressive in negotiation that I match, right? I don't have to be aggressive, but guess what? I'll just pick up what's important to them. How is it important for them to communicate? And there are other people that I've had wonderful transactions and escrows with because the communication style is resonating. When you start to feel that banter, right? You're going back and forth. It's communication style. I literally experience this all the time in my transactions. All the time. As a reminder, for those of you who are new, I am a licensed California real estate professional, public educator, national speaker, award-winning author, all that fun stuff. I had to say that because someone watched the show and didn't know that I was licensed as a licensed professional. So I was like, maybe I need to just drop that in so you guys know, who is this chick? Super agent, that's who she is. All right, let's wrap this up. I love that. He says, when I began to communicate in details, thank you, Bongo. Shout out to Bongo for sharing. I don't know what's going on. Are you guys dropping comments? I don't see any comments on Facebook. Y'all quiet over there. I see you on. Very quiet. Now I'm like, are you feeling me? You just not feeling me today? The author says, when I began to communicate in details and write things down for others. Thank you, 24K Levi. He says code switching. Yes. If you just jumped on, replay. And if you are getting on late, remember hashtag replay so I know you're on. It's so important. My books are written that way. You know, these are written to code switch. I break down real estate terms and concepts very, very simple. Why? I use code switching techniques. There's text messages in these books, text messages in the books. Why? So that it resonates with who my target audience is. That's my responsibility. So explore, what is your responsibility when you are expressing yourself? Why? Because communication is what gets us what we need and want. It's through expressing ourselves. Why? Perfect example. Right now, I've been challenging myself to do something every morning with doing this. My affirmation and my mantra is, who's got my money? I've been working on this for the last, since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm on day 5 and I have manifested money into my life or accounts every day since I've done that. Why? Because I'm learning to improve how effective my communication is being received by other people. Who's got my money? And then I put that into the universe, and guess what? I get a phone call that expresses something. It is my duty to now convert that into currency. You see how that works? I have a need. What is my need? The universe knows your need. You don't have to beg for it. Be very clear and keep it pushing. That was so good. I'm serious. You got 2 CTAs if you want to try that. If you want to work on your money, you have 2 CTAs. One, let's substitute saying, I need to talk to you with, I'd like to speak with you. Practice it so it's natural, because it may not be natural for you. Me as a negotiator, as an educator, a speaker. I code switch all the time. So if you're not used to code switching, learn how to do it. Learn so it rolls off your tongue and it feels natural, so that you don't feel like you punking out in some kind of way. I don't mean that in a bad way. It just can come off that way if it's not natural to you, or if it's not natural for you. All right. All right, here we go. He says, chances of his communication being heard and agendas being accomplished were generally twice as good. Better means better chest joined. Thanks for joining us as we conclude our 81st episode of Shift Your Thinking. This was powerful. Drop some gems on here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your love. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on the YouTube, radio, podcast, everywhere. Know that I love you. I love you, love you, love you. Have a powerful and productive week. I'd love to hear the feedback on how the CTAs have been going for you on every episode. I just don't come out here just to do this. I'm applying this. Let me say this real quick. Knowledge is power, but application is wisdom. All right. Knowledge is power. Application is wisdom. Apply this to your life. All right. Go shift your thinking and transform your money, your personal relationship, your career. I'm out, you guys. Love you.